Yo, man, you know what? I was thinking, man, with this whole thing of fixing our issues and, studying from the family unit and everything, we carry a lot of luggage, eh? We carry a lot of problems. As an average South African has a lot of issues, particularly an average Aboriginal, native, black South African, right? Think about it, man. We are known for a lot of things in the world. For good music, we have got good vocals, best vocals in the world. We've got good dances, best dances in the world. We've got a lot of things, man. We are very vibrant people. But also we are known for a lot of bad things. We have the merger capital, which is Cape Town, and particularly, places with black and colored people, with natives, like Enyanga, Guguletu, and all that, and Manenberg, Bishop Levis and all that. That's murder, man. We are the murder capital of the world. It's not even a war zone, but we kill way more than some countries that are known to be war zones.
There's no war there, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's more people dying from here than so-called war zones. But also we are known, man, for as a rape capital, There's so much rape going on in South Africa. And I'm only talking about the reported cases, not even the missing or unreported cases. The reported cases are so high, it's shocking. And even more than that, unemployment is high, and suicide, we are only second to Russia. And that's only the reported cases as well. So it could be much higher. We are possibly the leaders in the world with suicide, rape, murder, unemployment, and inequality. So that speaks volumes when it comes to really sorting out our issues. These are astronomical issues that need each and everyone to be active. I want to touch on rape, man, I want to touch on rape a little bit. So, there's this populist idea of rape culture, right? People just throw these words around. Rape culture, there's rape culture in South Africa. I'm not going to debate that. I'm not going to argue whether it is there or not. All I'm going to say is that there's a lot of rape going on in the country. Hell of a lot, to begin with. Statistics do say that only 71 cases out of 100,000 get reported. 71 out of 100,000. You see? That's crazy, man. Which means a lot of cases are not even reported. Presumably because they happen within people who know each other, It's people who know each other, families and people who are close, It's not really strangers in many cases, but then in many cases it's strangers as well. You saw with the Krugersdorp illegal immigrants rape issue, where these men got in there and violated our women. But then it happens. It's been happening. It's just that there's a spotlight on it now, but then it's been happening. And tell you something, it's not just women who get raped in this country. Men get raped. Even there in Krugersdorp, even in Kagiso, where those Zamazamas are raping people, they rape men, man. It's a known thing. They would rape a man in front of his wife and kids, clearly to break his spirit, to break his masculinity. It's a statement of power, like that. I can do anything to you. I'm more powerful than you. So the last that I heard was male rape amongst boys below the age of 18 is equivalent to female rape among girls below the age of 18. So both girls and boys, before they reach the age of 18, the age of 18 years old, they will be raped at least 1 in every 3.
So on that point, so why do you think then the focus is only on the female rapes and not on the male rapes?
I think obviously, man, there has to be it's sensationalism. So remember, female rape is rape, man, and it's very horrible, right? It's not wrong for the focus to be there. I guess the question should be, why is the focus not on the men rapes as well? I think that's the real question here. Why are the male cases not being reported? Why are we not being told about it? Because it happens, man. It's factual statistics. 3 out of every 10 boys, or 1 out of every 3 boys before the age of 18, they will be sexually harassed or raped. This is the exact same amount of girls who go through that. You see? So, by the age of 18, 3 in every 10 boys that you meet on the street are most likely victims of sexual harassment or rape. I know people who went through that, men who went through that. I mean, you could be one of those. Any other guy on the street could be one of those. Same thing with women. It's even worse. You see, in the Eastern Cape and KwaZulu-Natal, when they did a survey, now this is where it gets interesting. 28% of all the men who were surveyed admitted to being perpetrators of rape. So 3 out of every 10 guys who were interviewed in KZN and Eastern Cape admitted that they raped.
Only Eastern Cape.
Eastern Cape and KZN, those two provinces, 30% of all the guys admitted, the guys who were interviewed, they admitted that they were rapists, right? 30%, which means 1 in every 3 guys that you see on the street is possibly a rapist. That's 30%, man. Remember, 30% is a high number. But that's only the guys who admitted it, right? And that's just rape. Now there's sexual harassment or even sorts of raping. If you could go to that, the stats would probably be much higher. In Gauteng, it's even higher. It's 38%. You see? Which means 4 out of every 10 guys now. Not 3 out of every 10 guys, but 4 in Gauteng. They have raped. And it's only the cases where the guys have actually admitted it. So you can see clearly that it's there, man. And I think it might be a bit more psychological and possibly economic than it is physical, you know. It may not necessarily be about pleasure, but more about power. Maybe we should start looking into that, you know, the imbalance with economics, people not working, men losing their place in the family and all that. Perhaps these guys are crying. And they are not the victims here, they're the perpetrators. Don't get it wrong. What I'm saying is perhaps it's a cry that recognizes us. We're men, we have the power, so we'll show it to you by force. It's the same thing with criminals, man. You know, you get robbed by a guy, you have a cell phone with you, and you give him the cell phone, you give him the laptop, and he still wants to stab you. Clearly, he's not after the cell phone and the laptop only, but he also wants you to feel pain, you know. There's pain, he's dripping pain, and he wants to share it with you by force. He will beat you up just so that you can feel inferior to him. And some of these rapists are like that. They don't rape you because they like you. They don't rape you because you have a nice body. They rape you because they want you to feel inferior. They rape you because they want you to feel like they have power. Or they want you to feel like they're powerful because they don't have a sense of significance. So you remember, people are driven by a lot of things, man. And one of those things is a sense of significance.
Yeah, I guess it goes back to the saying that says, hurt people, hurt people.
Hurt people. It sounds cliche, but it's true,
Yeah.
right? And you know, one of the factors that drive men is a strong sense of significance. Even you, man, if you do not feel significant in your workplace, you can get paid 50K a month, right? But then if nobody comes to you to ask for your opinion on your professional work in the workplace, you just given, you know, minimal tasks, and you don't even get consulted when there's going to be changes. You're not going to enjoy that job. With a 50K salary, you're not going to enjoy it because we are driven by a sense of significance, amongst other things. There are other things like a sense of security, a sense of chaos, a little bit of chaos as well, a sense of uncertainty, just a little bit, but also a sense of stability. So there's a lot of things, but one of the most strongest things that men look after, search for, is a sense of significance. And a lot of guys don't have that in South Africa. With 7 out of 10 young people not working, man, a lot of guys don't feel significant. So that significance is usually imposed on other people, like people who are considered less, like a guy, you know, just a professional guy who has his own things. He's an easy target for criminals because they will feel more powerful in front of him. He's going to be there scared and shaking and giving them all this. He's not going to fight. So those criminals are going to enjoy it. They get a kick from it. Same thing with women. When those guys rape those women, they even rape gays, man. You see, they even rape gays and other groups of people. I remember there's one guy who was telling me, a gay guy who was telling me that he actually got violated by you know, this individual, by a taxi driver. You know, he was on his way from school and he got violated. So that taxi driver, he could be, yeah, it could be any reason why he did that. But on top of it all, the fact that you feel like you can just take from someone, it's even worse, man. Someone you don't even know, you can just take a part of their body or part of their self-pride. It shows that you have a problem. So this is partly one of the roots, but there's a lot of causes as well. So just to go back, there was a study in America that was done on the perpetrators, né? And about 58% of all rape perpetrators were men, and about 42 were women. Now that brings a different dynamic, because we spoke about male rape, and I still believe it personally that majority of people who rape men are still men. I believe it, based on the context of South Africa, right? That a lot of guys who rape men are men, but there's also a lot of women who rape men. A lot of women from when they were young boys, you know. I saw this one video that was trending maybe a year or two ago with these two ladies. I think they're probably in their late 20s, if not early 30s. And this one lady was busy kissing in a very, very, very distasteful way, kissing a little boy in a very sexualizing way. And that's a crime, you know. She should have been jailed for that. But people were laughing about it as if it's good when an old female does that to a little boy. That's pedophilia, man. That's a very, very terrible moral hazard to start with. That woman shouldn't be allowed in public space. Shouldn't be with the person. Should be somewhere in jail, having other inmates deal with her very well. But what I'm saying is, it happens. A lot of females, you know, when we're younger, man, there are old females who would come towards little boys and act as if they're teaching them, and they're harassing them. Sometimes they touch your private parts. Sometimes they kiss you.
Have you been harassed, bro?
I've been harassed more than once by females, you know.
Care to share?
So I think it was in 2019, like maybe 2020. You know, I used to have a small business when a few years back. I used to sell some stuff. So I was in this particular area in Cape Town, and I was selling, you know, this lady. And I was with a partner of mine at that time. We were just starting out. And this lady came, and, you know, I couldn't hear what she was saying, man. She was obviously intoxicated. I couldn't hear what she was saying, and it's cool with me. I didn't care what she was saying. I was busy doing what I was doing. And the next thing, she was touching me, man. She was touching me very inappropriately. And I was shocked, bro. And this is an old lady, you know. She was touching the hell out of me, and she didn't even.
What do you mean touching, bro?
She was touching my private part, man, without my permission, you know. And I was traumatized. I couldn't even do anything about it, and I was shocked, man, that these things happen. And I was thinking, damn, you know, like now I understand why people people freeze when they get, because I know ladies.
Did you feel scared when she
not
did
scared,
that?
not scared, but I couldn't process it. I was not scared, obviously, man, you know, but I couldn't understand what's happening, you know? Because I picked it up later. I could feel that she's doing something to me.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering, maybe she wants to steal some money. And then I picked it up later. No, man, this person is not stealing money, you know, because I had money.
Yeah.
No, she's not stealing. She's actually, you know, doing what she's doing. So obviously I had to do something to process and deal with that, right? But then that was just one case. There's a lot of instances where older ladies have said stuff now without touching. They've said really inappropriate stuff, man. Like, I was like, what the hell is happening? You know, we know about ladies, that guys go around saying stuff to ladies. I didn't know that ladies say the same thing to guys, but they do, eh? Not just ladies, even gay people, they say stuff to us, man. When you're like, what the hell, man?
Have you ever been approached by a gay person?
Not approached by, but it's the same thing. Selling as well, you know. Not really approached me, because we saw this group of guys there, and I could see, okay, something is happening. I pushed my partner to go and deal with them, and you could hear, I'm a security.
Yeah.
But then they didn't really do much beyond that. They couldn't. They know we're men, man. You know, I'll get angry, and then I'll deal with it as a man. But my point is, man, not all guys are like me. Not all guys are able to handle that. And when it comes to us as men being harassed or even raped by women, whether we are younger than them, they're way older than us, or even same age, man, you know, because rape doesn't discriminate. So a lot of guys don't really report it, and I think that's where there's a missing link, because statistically before the age of 18, men and women experience the same amount of sexual harassment and sexual violence. It's statistically factual. But then after 18 we don't hear anything, and you hear stories like mine. And I remember there was a thread on Twitter after this video trended with a lot of guys, you know, they were telling stories about their mother's friends, their mother's friend who used to come, and every time she would come to the house, she wanted, you know, favors from this little boy. Do you get me? Guys share those such stories, man. And you know, when this guy is older, you know, there's obviously some kind of instability in the head.
Yeah.
This guy is gonna be doing some things to little girls here. We won't even understand, man. You know, wanna say something?
So don't you think, bruh, like the rise on rape and sexuality, like people wanting to identify as other sexual groups and stuff like that, people want to identify as balloons, as you said last time. So don't you think that maybe there's too much focus on sexuality?
Absolutely. So remember, sex, man, is not even a high frequency experience for human beings. You know, it's one of the very basic experiences for human beings. Very basic, man. It's for reproduction. I promise you, it is for reproduction. It's not for entertainment. It's not for pleasure. Once you start engaging sex as something for pleasure or entertainment, it becomes futile, and that's where we are now as a society. It is so futile. Each and every second, you see someone shaking their buttocks. You see someone exposing their private parts. Even guys, man. You know, little boys are there doing things on social media, and you see old ladies there. They're drooling. Exactly. Umlan. Why are you doing it for everyone? If you like umlando so much, don't show us. We don't want to see it. But then guys do umlando there, and you see, and they'll be. I'm shocked, man. I'm like, what's happening? You know. But it also points, man, towards a void. You know, there's a big void, man, inside our people, old and young now. Age doesn't have anything to do with it. Old and young people are void of purpose and substance, you know. Because once you find purpose, man, you don't need likes and reactions. Actually, you even want to leave social media sometimes because there's so much life overflowing within you, right? You're passionate about stuff. That's why I think people should find passion, man. You know, a kid who loves drawing and loves art, they should focus on that, you know. And then they'll realize that I can live off this, you know. People who love music, let them focus on that. People who love, you know, who are good with their hands and whatever, focus on that. People who like to talk like me, we focus on that, man. You know, we share thoughts, we try to inspire, you know, and offend as well. You know, you have to offend at some point. I'm not saying you must insult, but offend so that people can start to question things.
But I mean, man, we can agree that some people are focused on their talents, but they are not getting anywhere.
Yeah, no, that's true. And obviously, just so that we clarify, I'm not a man of solutions. I don't have solutions for everyone here. But what I think, there should be intentionality behind everything, man. Focus on your talent, but also study the context.
Is it maybe like lack of support?
Absolutely, it's a lot of things. It could be lack of support, whether moral or financial support.
And even from home.
Even from home, absolutely, man. A lot of the times, especially in our cases, about right? But also, man, it could be because of, you know, times are changing, right? So there's a concept called creative destruction in economics. And creative destruction really speaks about failure to advance when it comes to creativity and technology. Guarantees ultimate destruction. So any economy or any system or any people who fail to recognize that, okay, now we are moving with times, right? We're using social media in certain ways. Businesses are moving in a certain direction. Advertising has changed from what it used to be 50 years ago. If you fail to recognize that, then ultimately, man, you'll be irrelevant. People who started 5 years ago, their degrees are completely irrelevant right now. The only thing they know is jargon. They can define words for you, but then they don't really know what's happening in the real world. Because remember, this degree's curriculum was designed maybe 15 years ago by some old guy who's 75 years old. So what I'm saying is, you have to be, you know, up to date with what's happening right now. I studied finance, accounting, economics and all that. And then I added a bit of software engineering there and there. Why? Because I recognized that, okay, now we are moving towards a digital, you know, environment in every single aspect of the economy, you know. Right now we're using a digital machine, you know, and we'll be posting this on some platform in some digital environment, right? And it will be stored in there. It's an asset, but it's not a physical asset, it's a virtual asset. So now if you want to take advantage of your talent, you should be able to understand the environment that we're in. For example, umuntu oyimbongi indoda, you know, someone who's a poet, a traditional poet. You can be imbongi emakhaya, you know, esigodini sakho, esifundeni sakho. But then if you're not gonna be able to transform that gift of ukubonga and actually modernize it, don't change it, but put it in such a way that, package it in such a way that people can access it in these platforms. It could be consumed by someone in Taiwan, in South Africa. If you are someone who's an artist, you know, or you are good with reading and all that, you could go to websites like Fiverr. People talk all the time about these things. There you are going to sell your skill, right? It's a marketplace. You no longer need now to knock on someone's door and give them a CV. No. You don't need that. You have a skill, you have a talent that you've been investing in.
That ship has sailed.
Exactly. Find a way now to capitalize on that and market it, right? I remember my very first job, professional job, was as a data scientist. I never studied anything to do with data science. Actually, a lot of the time, you don't even get into data science without a master's degree. But I got it because I was able to what? Sell myself. And I'm good with that. And I know you've done the same. And a lot of other guys. But it's not many enough people do that. So people who struggle, man, to capitalize on their talents need to really look at the context they are in. And if you have to learn something else before you can fully take advantage of your talent, go and learn something else. Don't come and tell us that, I studied law and then now I can't get a job. Yes, you studied law and you can't get a job. Why don't you learn graphic design maybe? Maybe go work in a law firm with your graphic design skills and your background in law. Do you get me? Why don't you start software engineering? There's boot camps everywhere. Some of them are 4 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 year boot camps. You get that skill, man, because it's currently freely available right now. But then in 2 years, 3 years time, it's going to be so expensive to get that skill. Google is spending billions of dollars, man, in Africa to make sure that they do a skills transfer. Amazon is coming over, you know. Things are changing, man. And if people fail to recognize, I don't care if you're in accounting or you're in finance or you're in the legal side of things, you need to position yourself in such a way that you are competent. That's what we talk about. So competence. So,
in on that point, then, so how do you advise that people who live in rural areas who don't have access to such equipment and stuff, then what about them, brother?
Well, there is access.
What do they benefit from this mechanical or technology revolution?
So, man, listen, goes back to one thing. There's always a way. Where there's a will, there's a way, my brother. Remember when we spoke this one time and there was an allusion that African leaders maybe don't have a choice. No. There's always a choice. So you see in rural areas, there are internet cafes, right? Just like in townships. Some townships are equivalent to rural areas. The only thing they have is the internet cafe or a library, right? So if someone wants, we're not saying everyone should do this. Those who want, remember, there are people who don't want. There are people who are fine exactly the way they live their life. They enjoy the rural area life, and it's fine, man. You know, we are humans. We choose what we want to do. Those who want to be part of, let's say, this thing, whatever it is, right? There's a way. There's a company, Silulo Technologies, right? You know what those guys do? Their business model is to service townships and rural areas. They're in rural areas, somewhere in the Eastern Cape, and in townships. That's what they do, man.
But for me, brother, I can testify that in my rural area, Tofimvaba, Kamata, Kumnganga, there's no internet cafe, you see, and many people don't have opportunities. I mean, there's limited schools, even no high school, nothing.
That's a very good thing. What do we do then about it? Us. Remember, it's not the solution is not out there. It's you, man. In your village, there's no internet cafe. Then maybe you should do something about it. Don't you think? No one's gonna create an internet cafe for you. You service your own needs. That's what I said. When I said let's form a functioning community, it's things like that, man. You have a laptop, you have internet. So how about you then maybe do something about it? You can start with one computer, man. Buy it from a second-hand computer from somewhere, cash converters or something. Use it somewhere there. People must pay like 5 rand or 2 rand for an hour so that people can have access. And then you can help people. It starts from there, from within, someone within the community. There is absolutely no place in South Africa where there's not even one person who can help the others, right? Even with us, man, I remember when I was in high school, one of our teachers actually brought us application forms from Ellen Gray, the Ellen Gray Foundation.
Yeah.
I didn't even know about the Ellen Gray Foundation, man. But this teacher, because she had access, she brought us, you know? And then that's how I got into the program. She helped us. She didn't stand and say, but we don't have opportunities in the townships. No, she went because she had access. She took the forms. She brought them. I think it was like 10 of us. And I'm the only one who made it. I remember we even went to Northwest and for a 3-day camp, but I made it through. So my point is that it goes a long way. That one person that you help, then they will come and, you know, reciprocate, and it becomes a cycle, a chain reaction. That's what we need. It's not gonna. This is not a quick fix, man. It might even take 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Even the guy who started, the man who started Silulo Uluto Technologies, he was a principal sometime. He stopped being a school principal. He focused on the business, and he's doing well, you see.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to solve the problem. He could have cried and said, in the township there's no internet cafes. But he decided, look, I see there's no internet cafes. I can do something about it. And then he did something about it. Now there's even international business people who work with him. He's involved in other businesses. So solutions are here. There's two pins, there's under it, you know. We just need to act and actually make it happen. So just to go back, man, to the whole thing about rape and man, for example, you know, it's important to understand that technology is a necessity. And when people think about technology, they think about gadgets. I'm not talking about gadgets, I'm talking about actual technology as a principle. For example, fire. Fire is a technology. You know, in order to cook, you need fire. It's a technology. Heat. It's a type of technology. Freezing stuff. Technology is really just about creativity and innovation, right? Look at the countries that are in dry areas, like they're in the Middle East. Those guys are good with water systems. They're really good because they're in a desert, right?
Yeah.
So they've
it's
mastered
it's starting to rain, brother. We're gonna have to cut this now.
All right.
But
yeah,
you can just
just to
wrap it up.
Ultimately, what I'm saying is, if we'll stay stuck on blaming, which is valid, you can blame as much as you want, but I still say our solutions are with us. We Steve Biko, Ubantu Biko said it, man. Black man, you're on your own, huh? And I say this: Black South African, you're on your own. Even more, Black South African men, Black South African women, Black South African child, you're on your own. Some of us, man, you know, families are expecting money from us. You get paid 25,000 rand, and you have to pay rent, and then there's parking, and then there's petrol, and then there's this and that. And the next thing, families don't even understand. They expect you to give them money. People who are not even there for you, man. These are conversations that need to be had, you know. This whole thing of being a breadwinner, so-called black tax, these are very important conversations, eh? Because if we don't address these things, we will see it's floating in the same place. In the same place for 100 years. The only thing we do is spend, but then we're not going forward as a people. So just to close, man, let's not get stuck. Let's use our brains. We're very intelligent people. We're very smart. A lot of these things that you see today, cars, light bulbs, toothpaste, clothes, a lot of them were invented by our people, man, you know. A lot of them, if not all. All these things have been there, but now we've lost
They're
them.
just modernized now.
They're just modernized, and that's what we need. We have to be able to modernize things. Not to abandon, but understand the context we're in. It's not wrong, it's not evil to do that. But yeah, man, because of the rain, I think I'll chat some other time.
Yeah, well, you heard it, people, from the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
Peace.